The wait is over. The all-new Umoja Radio Network, home to over 40 Black-owned radio stations and podcasts, is here for you. Connect to the world's fastest-growing collection of unapologetically Black and proud media, from podcasts to independent Black-owned radio stations, and access to the important news and music you need. Umoja Radio is from our culture, by our culture, for our culture. The all-new Umoja Radio is available right now on Google Play and the Apple Store. Join the movement. Be empowered.
All right, beautiful people. I hope you can hear me good. Kim, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, PA. How about yourself? You good?
Doing good, doing blacknificent. The former mayor from the city of Muskegon Heights.
Oh, blessed.
The boss lady herself, Kimberly Sims, is in the building from Mahali. How you doing today? You already said you're doing good.
I'm doing great, PA. Anytime I have an opportunity to sit down and build with you, I know it's okay. And I so love the intro, right? Seeing all that brown energy, it feeds my spirit in a different sort of way. That's what we need.
Yeah, that was the Heart and Soul Music Festival back in October in Orlando, Florida. Is on this year, October the 14th, Orlando, Florida. Hopefully we're going to be making our announcement in a few weeks who's going to be the headliner of that show. But it was fantastic. A lot of folks from Muskegon came down and represented, and it was nothing but love.
PA, you know what? I got to do a much better job on my social media game. I'm just going to keep it 100, right? And so I got to do more with keep making sure I stay up to date on the information, because that right there, don't let me miss it, PA, right? Make sure you text me or something, because I got to be a part of that.
We'd love to have you down there, definitely. So do you miss, before we get into the business, you miss politics?
I'm not done with politics, PA. That's what I keep telling people, right? Do I miss being the mayor? I do. I miss my people. I miss representing the city, but I'm just representing in a much different way, quite honestly. So I haven't stopped. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still working. And so, I mean, do I miss it? Yeah. Yeah, I guess the long and short of it is I do in some ways miss it.
Well, you're right down the street. So yeah, you're right around the corner.
Yeah, I ain't got to, huh?
Yeah, you can still rock. You can still, it's gonna be some people that's not running for a re-election. So
and that's what I'm hearing. And I gotta honestly look at, how can I best where can I best serve my people?
Right.
And so, I'm looking at that. Being in that particular office is not the only place I can serve. And I have to do I believe in my community, not just the elected office. So, my thing is I can maybe touch more lives on the ground than I can in that particular seat. But I mean, certainly something for consideration. I'm not going to say I've taken it completely off my radar now.
Right. So I always want to add an S to Mahali's. I don't know why it just maybe it's my dysfunctional speaking behavior, but it's Mahali.
It's Mahali.
And what does that mean?
So Mahali actually means place in Swahili. And so when Andy and I started looking at the community, we knew and we recognized that there was no place in the community for the people themselves to come together and build with each other, with thought, ideas, conversations. There was no place where that synergy in our community took place. So it's Swahili, it means place, right? And so we spell it with a lowercase m because the focus is not on the place itself, but it's on the people that come to the place. Because our goal and objective for Mahali is to be able to build a catalyst of people through those interactions in that place to go out and impact and empower the community. That's the logic behind, or our thought behind, why Mahali exists, right? So that's just I mean, the essence of who we are. We do it for the community. It's the community space. That's why we try to offer things and do things in the place um, to bring the community together. So we're real intentional about what we do in this space.
That's good. That's good. So, Mahali, a place for community, 2780 Peck Street, in beautiful city of
Mhm.
Muskegon Heights. What is going on there? You have pop ups. You have shops that's popping up. These are independent owned businesses, right?
Absolutely. Independently owned businesses that are coming together in one collective space to share their goods with the community and ask the community to come out and support them. And so that's one of the things that we have going on. So Henrietta Hetley of Infinite Solutions, she came to me in the back around Christmas time. And she was like, let's do pop-up shops. And so it's something that we had done before, but it was just me doing it. And you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm by no means bored or am I not busy. So when she came to me and offered the opportunity, it was like, oh, absolutely, let's do it. And it was well received by the community. And one of the vendors there, Miss Gloria Bennett, Barnett, I'm sorry, she came to me after those pop-ups were done. It's like, hey, can we continue this? I would really love to continue this in this spot. It was so well received. And so that's kind of what she's taken on now to be able to do. And so we offer the community these pop-up shops on Saturdays, various Saturdays throughout the month. And I can share the schedule with you on
Please.
on
Yes.
Saturdays from 10 in the morning till 5. And so it's an opportunity for vendors to sign up, to come there. Everybody's in one spot. I think last week they had 3 vendors. Times before that, they've had 7. So it kind of depends on who signs up to be able to come there and that synergy, right? To be able to support each other, to build each other, share ideas. If it's slow, one customer could shop at one vendor, go across the way to another vendor. But it's about coming together to support each other collectively in this space. So that's the pop-up things that we're doing right now.
Now, talk about the businesses. What are they selling?
So it could be anywhere from clothes. We had one young lady there, I believe she was 12, and she sold like handcrafted soaps. She's been there. There's been jewelry there. There's been cakes and wines there. So there's an array. Whatever your business is, and you want to bring it to the space, that's what'll be there in that particular day.
And I'm sure there's a charge. So how much is it?
Yep. And so I believe the charge is $50. And I can share the website with you for
Please.
Miss Gloria. Yep. I can share that with you so that you can reach out to her because she's coordinating all of that. And
Okay.
so it's a partnership between herself and me, and I just offered the space. And so if we could send some prayers out for Miss Gloria, she would have been here with me today, but her sister just transitioned. And so she wasn't able to be here to be a part of the conversation with us today. So I'm going to try to hold it down.
Oh, you hold it down. You're the boss. You know what you're doing. You also rent your facilities out for other activities. Can you talk about those?
Absolutely. We try to keep the costs minimal. And so we rent it out for kids. Our favorite is kids' birthday parties, quite honestly. But there had to be repasses there. We can do some birthday parties, girls' nights. We do paint and sips. And so the space is available for rental as well. I would be the contact person for that piece of it. And so you can usually reach out to me on the Facebook page, and I typically will get right back to you. But so it's there for the community. We host trainings in this space for different organizations have worked with us. We've partnered with Reed Muskegon to offer a satellite space for them when their area, their space is too small. They need a larger facility. They'll partner with us. We've done play and learn groups for the community, but anything that we can do to support the community. So like now on Tuesday nights, we actually do extreme hip hop. When I tell you a lot of fun, I'm getting up moving, PA. Okay.
Right.
I'm exercising.
Right.
Right. With Miss Cece. And we have so much fun in this space. And like on Thursday nights, we do yoga with Corey. So we're really trying to do intentional programming for the space to be able to improve the health and well-being of our community.
Kim Sams is in the building. We got some online questions now. They might not all pertain to your
Mahali, I
business.
get it.
From Jay Kilgo, he said, "How do you think we can help Heights residents get more involved to make changes for the positive here in the city? For the positive here in the city."
Absolutely. We got to keep reaching them. We got to come to where they are and go get them. right? And show them, give them something that they want to be a part of. I've seen that about our community. If I'm interested in it, I'm going to participate. If you bring in something that just interests you and don't interest me, you're going to be there by yourself. Right. And so we have to be able to stay engaged with the community and offer things that the community wants, not what we think they need. Right. And so, that's part of why extreme hip hop is there. It was requested. People started talking to me about, hey, what if we did some yoga? It was requested. So that's why we sought those venues out to bring them to the community. And so that's how it was, just engaging them, Jay.
Wow, that's good. So they have blessed us with space to hold home buyers education classes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we really try to do, right? We try to work with nonprofit organizations or people who are trying to impact the community in a positive way. We usually don't charge. Very little rent, very little time for the space, right? And so, because our goal again is to be able to empower the people, that's the focus, and we've been blessed. We've been blessed to be able to do that.
What is the telephone number that people can call if they don't do Facebook?
The telephone number is 231-286-9518.
Now, are you still a midwife?
I'm a doula.
A doula, what's that?
Absolutely. A doula is a labor support companion for the birthing person, right? And so we're there for educational, emotional, and physical support of the birthing person. And so midwives catch, right? So the midwives are the ones that catch the baby. They're more on the medical side, and doulas coach. So we're there to support and to work them through the labor process. I mean, there's some really good things coming to the community on that part as well, PA. So there's a group of organizations that are coming together, and we've started the How You Birth Doula initiative. So our goal is to bring doulas to the community. So there's going to be a community doula program in Muskegon County. And they just hired somebody as their coordinator.
You.
Right.
Miss Shirley Williams is
Hey,
saying,
Miss Shirley.
Great leader. Appreciate your support, Miss Williams.
Absolutely.
And still looks beautiful. She got kids our age, and she's not aging over there.
And not at all. Every time you see Miss Shirley, together. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be like Miss Shirley when I grow up.
Right. Those are goals, right?
Absolutely.
So what about mentoring? What are we doing to mentor young leaders? Mentor kids to be bosses, mentor kids to be elected officials, mentor kids to engage in their community.
You know what, PA, and I'm sure there are organizations out there like Pathfinders that I know of that is doing some really great work when it comes to mentoring our kids. Are we doing enough? No, I don't think so. We need more hands on deck, right? And I would love to mentor some kids in the political realm. We have to, right? That's the next generation coming up. And if we don't teach them how to take charge and command the table, right? Because the game of politics is nothing. That's not checkers, man. That's chess all day long. And if we're not teaching them to strategically play the game, we as a people are going to lose, right? We're doing ourselves a disservice. And so people always talk about kids are our future. No, kids are our right now. They're our right now. And we need to behave as such.
Should we be concerned in an election and come down to elected officials or for African Americans that Pastor Andre Williams is the youngest, I believe, politician in our area?
I think we absolutely should.
And he started off young. I mean, he's a young man, but he's starting to get up there. He's in his, I think, late 30s now. He's the youngest.
Get up there late 30s.
He probably tell you that he feels a little different when he was in his 20s.
Absolutely, right?
He probably need 8 hours of sleep, maybe 7, you know.
Just, you know what, just like we need to make sure that the demographic of the racial population is represented at the table, the age demographic should be represented as well. Because that younger generation has a completely different thought. PA, that's why when I was in that seat, I always tried to surround myself with younger people and talk to them and sit down and just really build with them. Because if elected officials build a community based on where they see themselves right now, we're going to lose, right? Because that younger population is not going to be interested in it. They're not going to see a value, right, in what we're building. So we have to be able to represent and make sure that that younger generation is represented.
You know, there's always been a conversation about the streets getting fixed. Can you share? Because you've been in charge when the streets, it's in the same situation as right now. Mm-hmm. Where did it start? and because they always want to blame the current administration about
You
the
can't
street.
blame the current administration. And so yeah, it happened. When you look at street projects, PA, I mean, we're talking, and numbers may have changed, right? And so when I was there, you're looking at a half a city block could cost you a quarter mil, right? So the finances have to be there. You have to strategically plan, not just my administration before, but some of these street projects have been planned 5, 8 years in advance. And you have to stay at the table and get those things in the hoppers, right? So they can roll out. They roll out over time. And so that's one of the pieces that a lot of people don't see and realize, right? And so when you have two pots of money, and this is why I try to explain to people, you have a major street fund and you have a local street fund, right? So that's why you see streets like Sherman Street continue to get funded, because that's considered a major street, where your local street is basically really just off your tax dollars. And so when we passed the road millage during my administration, we knew that it was going to have to build over time. That's why we had to strategically identify areas, if you will, where we could get the most bang for our buck and spread that out throughout the entire community, right? So we could see some type of impact. But yeah, streets they're a huge thing. And I'm gonna tell you, it starts with maintenance. You have to maintain them, right? Because we have a freeze and a thaw. If we get a simple crack in our road with that asphalt and we don't repair it in a timely manner, it's just gonna grow. And that's why we don't have necessarily potholes. We got some craters. Okay.
So that major street fund,
Mhm.
where do that come from?
That comes from more of your tax and more of your state dollars, right? So your gas tax that's being paid, those dollars kick back into the community through your major.
It can only be used on major streets.
It can only be used on major streets. If it's earmarked major streets, it cannot be pulled over into a local street.
So how do you think the city is going to get out of this? Because it's like a revolving cycle. They don't have the tax base for the local streets, and I think that rate now is like $500,000 a block.
Yeah,
It was $250,000 when you was there. I think it's $500,000 a block now.
Yeah.
How do they get out of that?
PA strategy. And this is, and people have been asking me, and I've been saying it, and I'm going to continue to say it. We have to make sure that when we're elected officials to our councils, it's not just popularity. It cannot just be about popularity. We need to make sure that we have a depth on our council that is, some have to have a business acumen, some need to have some law acumen, some need to have some social, like you need a plethora of knowledge at that table so that when these things come forth, you have the knowledge to deal with them and push them out. Everybody can't be just because I love my Muskegon Heights. Don't get me wrong. We all do, right? But some people have to have that very strategic mindset to get us out of this, right? Can it be done? Yes. Have we been where we're at right now? I'm just going to be honest. It ain't been as bad. However, right, we have been here before, right? And it's something that can be overcome. And that was the council that I served on during that time, right? We all were at different sides of the fence on different issues, but we disagreed to disagree, and we moved forward and we got out of the situation and we put the city back on the right track, right? So can it be done? Absolutely, right? But it's going to take strategy and forethought to do it.
Jake Kilgore said we need to get more homeowners in the Heights to generate more tax revenue.
This is true.
And Rhonda Aubrey said, hello, great conversation, but some of this was said by Troy Bell, and it appeared nobody listened. Troy Bell does the show on Wednesdays at 2:00 on 103.7. And can this be done without increasing home ownership?
Pia, I'm going to say this, right? I think we have to give a reason for people to want to be in Muskegon Heights in order to increase the home ownership, right? And so we've got some aesthetic things that we need to do to attract that population. This is just my thought. This is right. Kim Sims, business owner, homeowner in the city of Muskegon Heights. Okay, and so there's some things that we need to do and get. I'm all about people power. I'm all about people power. We need our citizens to be engaged and rally. That's where the true change is going to come from. When our citizens stand up and say, okay, we're done, enough. And this is how this will happen. This is what we want to see. And they walk that out and they hold people accountable for those things, right? That's how it's going to shift and change. We can't just throw our hands up and be like, okay, that's just how they're going to be. No, because we live here. We pay tax dollars here, and we should be seeing something for our funds. We should be seeing some type of return on the investments that we make. That's just me, right? And so there's a lot of work that we need to do, but it's doable. I see it as being very doable.
I heard people say their favoritism at City Hall. Is that true?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can't really say that. When I was there in my particular administration, I tried very hard to treat everybody the same, right? Treat each department the same and to work with each department, to hear each concern. And so I can't say that during my time there that was a problem, right? Are you going to have one person that feels like you're listening to somebody else more? You have human dynamics, right? Human dynamics is going to always be a part. But again, right? Agree to disagree. Because we're not going to all agree. Human nature is not going to allow us to do that, right? But we need to be able to agree to disagree and keep our focus on the one thing that's major, and that's the city and the people of the city. That should be the main focus, and how we best serve them. The people that we serve, not ourselves, the people that we serve, how we best serve them, right? And I used to tell people all the time, it's not personal. This isn't personal at all. This is very much business.
Steve Jones said, why so many burned houses are allowed to stay in that condition for years? We see that in Detroit. You see that in some other black cities. I know you're not in office right now, but that's from your expertise.
From my expertise, I would say that a lot of the homes that you see that are burnt and just sit there like that have no insurance on them. And so when there's no insurance, then there's no one to take them down. And most cities don't have reserves to demolish a home. It's much easier for a private. This was always baffling to me. It's much easier, PA, for you to get a house torn down than it is for a city to get a house torn down. There are many more hoops that we have to jump through. And so there aren't always resources available in cities to tear those houses down.
Wow. Victor Sanders says, great discussion, but Kim has a great point on making business decisions. How do you vote a person out without a backup plan? That's business 101. Your thoughts on that?
Well, look, you know what, PA? At Mahali, we work with everybody. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to.
Okay. Okay, I get you.
Right.
But I can say this. He definitely makes, in my opinion, as a businessman, I don't make a lot of drastic decisions and make changes without having a backup plan. That is a recipe for disaster when you put your staff and your infrastructure in jeopardy because you don't have a backup plan. Unless this is absolutely, you just have to make that decision at that time that is vital to your operation. Mm. You got to be smart. Even if you got to tolerate some things to make smart decisions, you might have to tolerate some things. Unless it's bringing your organization down. That's just me. I'm not a most successful person. I've only been doing it for a couple of years, so it's just my opinion. Not that of Kimberly Sims. Apparently, because you have elected official experience, you started as a council person and you ran a couple of times maybe before you won. People want to tap into your brain, and I always offered you a radio show, which you never wanted to do. I want y'all let y'all know that.
I was a little nervous. Right.
I'm like, Kim, you can't sit down, Kim. You just can't sit down. I want to get your voice mattered. Now you see, people want to talk to you.
Absolutely. But people always know how to get in touch with me. I mean, I've had more phone calls, I'm gonna say, in probably the last month than I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. It was, not to say it's communities, and this is one of the things that I say is unfortunate, PA, right? Because there's communities throughout the state of Michigan like ours dealing with some of the same stuff. Yeah. Right. This isn't unique to our community. And not that I like it anymore. Right. I don't like it when this happens because I know that we're better than this. I know we're better than this. We just have to be able to figure out how to get past it. But part of that too, and I hold myself responsible. I mean, I'll say that, right? I know too much to have set back the way I did. I'm too knowledgeable. I should have been there, right? Addressing it more than I did. I did a couple times, but I should have been there addressing it more than I did. And so that's one of the things I looked at. But now look to that plot you put out there about the show, right? Once COVID hit, I'm not going to, and I tell people all the time, like it was a perfect mixture for me, right? To kind of fall back and to get to know myself a little better, quite honestly, because I had given so much over time to the community that I forgot who self was. And
Right.
self-care had fallen to the wayside and my health was starting to falter, quite honestly. Right. And so after I was able to kind of take COVID and I received it. I call it the gift of COVID. And people look at me real crazy, but I received that and took some time to, get to know me better and put some things in perspective. You know what I'm saying? And I just like, okay, this is where I found myself. But I care. I still care deeply. Like the work that I still do is to impact my community, right? Is to impact the women and children of the community. That's why I wanted to do the work, right? Because of some of the issues that I knew some of our women were having. And these are moms, right? Community starts with family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah.
Dr. Pulsifer says, while the council as a whole are never on accord, they bump heads. Do you think you could have unified this council if you was there?
I couldn't unify them when I was there. Let's just keep it 100, PA. Come on now. If we want to talk real, let's talk real.
Yeah.
Right. I can talk about it now because I'm not sitting there. That was
Right.
one of the hardest things to do. When you cannot count to 4 on a council, when you don't have the majority of the support, you cannot move policy. It's just not doable. You see what I'm saying? And so I couldn't unify council then because for whatever reason, they couldn't hear me.
Wow.
Right. And one of the things
what has to been unified then? If you didn't unify it, was it unified under Daryl Page?
I would say we had a little more unity then than we do. Right. Even under Wilkins, when we had the issue, when we were on our way to receivership, that got all of our attention. You hear me? That stopped all of us in our tracks. We had to put all those differences to the side and work for the common goal. And that was to save this city. So we did not have a financial manager come in. The city was like, oh no, this won't happen. Everybody stopped back. We took the gloves off, right? And came to the table and we worked cohesively to get the situation taken care of. And we did that. We went into a debt elimination plan and paid the debt elimination off 2 years ahead of progress. Right? We did that. But that came as a result of a unified council outside of our differences. Did we still disagree on some stuff? Absolutely. But we agreed on the one thing that this was not going into receivership and we moved the ball. We moved it. Right. Wow. And so that's one of the things was it ever come. So yeah, so that's why I say there is a way to get past it. Ego cannot come to the table. Let it go. Because if the ship crash under your watch, then right? It don't matter who was steering. Exactly. It don't matter. And just let it go and save the city, right? And so when we saved it, that's what we did.
Jake Kigor said, PA, we just don't want to default and have an emergency city manager in. Definitely agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah, Dr. Pulsifer said, you should run for mayor again. You came so close with a write-in campaign, which was amazing.
I did. And I'm forever, you know what though? That showed me, PA, the love that this community had for me. The work, They respected the work, right? They saw the grind, they respected the grind. And I appreciate that. That was like I still brings my heart joy, right? And so it was just time, I think.
Time to rest for 4 years. So when are you going to make your announcement? You got 4 years to rest. You did a Joe Biden. Joe Biden had 4 years to rest. Well, okay, we'll save that for another time. I get the exclusive though, because I was there when we was at the Mesquite Community College when you announcing your city council run. We interviewing you on TV. Remember those days, right?
Oh my gosh, I do. I do. Right. But PA, and what's honest and what's really funny about it, when I think about some of the some of the most impactful work that I've done on behalf of this community. One of them was in that seat. All the rest of it has been outside of it, right? And so, and that's one of the things that I have to weigh that in perspective, right? And so, and I tell you what, and I'm gonna put it out there, if I do, my citizens gonna have to be ready, because it's gonna be a uphill grind. It's gonna be, and it's probably would get a whole lot harder before it got a whole lot better, right? But I think that's going to be the way it is without. But if I don't, whoever does, I'm a wealth of knowledge.
Right.
I'm always willing to help. I'm always willing to talk. I talk to those who talk to me. I share with those who seek the information unselfishly. I'm not even charging you for it. There's some communities that's paying me for the goods, right? So, but here I'm just willing to freely give it, right? But again, I mean, I believe in the people of this community. And that's one of the things I was thinking about earlier, PA. Like, we need to invest in the people and not the person of this community, right? Because the reality is the show shouldn't stop because one person is gone.
Right. Shouldn't.
It should not.
You got quite a few questions, so we can wrap up here. Quite a few questions here. Darwin, Big Brother Darwin says, what are your 3 best ideas to advance the city of Muskegon Heights if you decide to run? What do you see that we need?
Investment in our businesses.
1.
Investment in the children in our community.
2.
Investment in the seniors who have paid their debts to this community. Right? You can tell a lot about a community the way they take care of their children and their seniors. And if the children and the seniors are faltering,
yeah,
right.
That's right.
And so I mean, those are the 3 things that I would focus on.
In the climate that's going on now, do you think business are looking to invest in Muskegon Heights under the current climate?
No, I'm not. I mean, and I say that as a business owner. I am a business owner. My Mahali is located in downtown Muskegon Heights. I talk to people. I've tried to recruit people to the community. Like I said, I'm not done advocating for Muskegon Heights. I see the value. I see the value. I was just talking to a guy today, right? But again, it was a matter of me sitting him down, talking to him one-on-one, answering every question, refuting every issue that he had, and letting him know, look, this is what Mahali has been able to do, downtown Muskegon Heights. This is how we love on our community. This is how we're received. Right? These are the things that come to Mahali and we put back out into our community. You could do the same thing. That's how impact is made, one tap at a time, right? And so that's what we need to be able to do. We need to bring together the downtown business owners and say, hey, let's do this. You see what I'm saying? And I believe in the people of our community, not the positions in the community. I believe in the people.
This is from Rhonda Arbery. Said, please explain how you had us, I'm assuming, send resumes to place us on boards.
Absolutely.
We're the best to serve, where you can select the best to serve. That was your practice. Is that a normal practice?
I can't say that that's the practice. I can't speak to that. But when I was there, I asked that every person submit a resume. So that when I was putting them on a board, I could put them in the place that they could best fit, right? So that we had a strong board presence. Again, right, that we had a depth of knowledge on the board, right? We could make sure that our committee, our board structure, right? If you can't get good stuff on the board, you can't get good stuff out of the board. Right. So you got to be able, because a lot of those boards, send up recommendations to council. And if we're not getting good, strong recommendations, then we can't set good policy. That was my mentality.
What do you think it would take to unify the council? You said it didn't happen when you was there. It was always something going on. What do you think it is? New members? You need to have folks that's going to rock with Kim all the way. But don't you want opposition though?
Absolutely, I want opposition. Yeah. Yes, right. But that comes from that again. Agree to disagree. We don't always agree. And people used to say this all the time, and I'm going to just put them out there. People used to say all the time that Daryl Page and I agreed on every issue. That is not correct. Daryl Page and I, we butted heads on many issues, right? But you wouldn't know that because Daryl Page and I, we was up on the phone forever, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, debating issues. But I had his respect, and he could hear me, and he had my respect. I could hear him. Right? Did I sometimes change his mind? Yes. Did he sometimes change mine? Absolutely. Did we sometimes hold our ground and didn't budge? Absolutely. Right. But we had a respect for one another to be able to hear one another.
So if you have a council who don't talk to each other,
it's problematic.
Only a couple of people that talk to each other outside of the chambers, is that good or bad?
You know, I would say that's problematic. Council should be able to talk.
I mean, some states have the sunshine law, like in Florida, where I stayed. You couldn't talk to commissioner, whoever, about policy or even what you want to do without it being public record.
Okay, so and hear me when I say, right? So there is the whole idea of the Opens Meetings Act, right? And so you should not be talking about policy or counting votes outside of a public quorum, right? But does that mean I can't pick up the phone and call Daryl Page to say, Daryl, what are you thinking about this? Like, what's your thought on this? Why don't you agree with this? I don't understand. Well, here's my reason why. Oh, I get it. Okay, well, here's my reason why.
Isn't it? You could talk about it, but it can't be a public forum. It can't be like a quorum of the four of y'all together.
Absolutely. You
a majority of the board together.
It cannot be.
Yeah.
It cannot be.
And which is sometimes could be hard because it's hard to get a consensus before you go on into this public meeting. And
That's
in the real corporate world, people are talking before they have their board meetings. And but that's the law. So whoever holds that seat would definitely have an uphill climb. We have what we need in our community for our resources. We should always utilize that institutional knowledge. That is from Benita Thurgill. Thank you, Benita.
Again, I say I believe in the people in our community.
We have to rebuild relationships intercity and intro-city.
Absolutely.
All right. So we started off talking about Mahali's, and that's the place. Y'all need to go stop up Mahali and talk to Kim.
Absolutely. You know what, PA, and this is what's honest. And so a lot of people, I mean, that part of me, when we initially opened Mahali, it was with the idea to incubate small businesses within Mahali space and then to empower them to move out into the community. The goal was one of those storefronts in downtown Muskegon Heights that was vacant, right? But to give them their strength behind them, whatever training they may need, whatever support they may need, right? It's easy for 4 people to share one light bill than it is for one person to share one light bill, right? You know what I mean? So it's really about incubating the businesses and empowering people to open small businesses. So that was the goal of Mahali. So to see us come back to the place where these pop-up shops now are happening in Mahali is really quite exciting, right? Because that was the beginning of why Mahali was created in the first place, right? We started going the rental route when the incubator idea wasn't really jumping off, and we had to keep those lights on, right? It's just right. So that's where we found ourselves, and so now we're in the space where we still believe that the community needs a place. The community needs a place to be able to come in to have good, strong conversation, and to build good thought, to agree to disagree, right? Because when they put policy up at the city council level, but some of us have talked about it, like we've equipped and we've empowered one another to be able to go to a council meeting and say, yeah, nope, I don't like that, and why? And nope, I don't agree with that. And this is why, you know what I'm saying? So we've empowered our people to be able to take that information, you know what I'm saying? To take that information out there.
Right. There you go. Miramore, country cooking. She got you.
Hey, right. Yeah. And so, and that's why I encourage people. And so our next pop-up PA is actually going to be on the 25th of February.
Okay.
From 10 to 5, right? And so that's going to be the last date for in February. And then we have some dates coming up in March. It's going to be March 11th and then March 25th.
Okay. And how many companies you have inside there at one time?
So it just depends on who signs up with Ms. Gloria, the number of people. She has, I think our limit is 8. 8, and we've almost made 8. And our goal is to get everybody in that space, right? To get the exposure for the people that are coming into the space. I mean, and get word out. Miss Gloria and Miss Henrietta, they do an excellent job getting word out, kind of maybe who's going to be there that upcoming weekend, so people know. And so you're able to go on web. I'm getting much better. Who, please help me. Anybody out there who want to help Mahali with their social media presence, give me a call. I'll just say it, right? And so we're trying to do a lot better with our social media presence to make sure that we get the word out timely to the community to be able to support some of these activities.
Well, thank you, Kim. We could talk forever. You're a good friend.
Absolutely.
Our friendship, and just proud of you that you didn't give up on the city. You made an investment back in the city. You could have left and posted up. Your daughter worked for the Pistons. You know what I mean? You could have been over there in Detroit, right? But you stayed here, you know, and now you just a block away. So
absolutely.
There you go. We got to roll. We can we're gonna run this conversation back on Facebook. It's on YouTube. If you want to hear what she had to say, support Mahali, support Kim Sams, support them and what they do in the community. God bless you, sis. Okay.
Oh, bless you. Thank you for everything you do for our community, PA. It's always a pleasure.
Always, sis. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.